Hi, everyone. My name is Jim Lal-Tabak. I'm a yoga teacher, energy healer, and health and wellness coach. Welcome to this healing energy treatment. Uh, and if you're new or newer, and welcome anyone that's viewing on Facebook Live or watching from the YouTube channel at future uh, recordings. So I just thought I'd just give you a brief history of my experience, and that is having had a near-death experience back in 1982. I started my healing journey, and it's been it's not a easy route. It's part of life, but it is a way of looking. It's a way of looking at what we encounter as to be a gift and a lesson instead of a curse and something that that to be endured. While we still endure, and I've endured, but I also know that I grow and I adapt every time something comes up in my life, um, and I become grateful. Maybe not at the moment when something happens, but as I view it, um, looking back, sometimes I know that I've gotten a great deal out of, especially my most traumatic experiences. Today, I wanted to work on um, healing those traumas using an energetic method that I have been trained in and have practiced since about 1998. Um, and that uses a uh, quantum level of healing. So when we say quantum, it means that it's effortless, because on the quantum level, everything is, well, it's micro, it's what's called nano in a lot of cases, or even smaller quantum wave theory, and everything moves with just even an intention. So we can change deep rooted energetic fields using the system. And I wanted to just talk about briefly suspending beliefs. When we have a belief, when we have a thought pattern, it it gets in the way of our taking action or anything in this realm, in anything changing. So learning how to suspend your belief systems is essential when it comes to energy work like this. So we allow things, and the basic idea is that to come from a place of anything is possible, and not how did that work? How do I how do I do this? Or what do I have to do to make this happen? And all these constructs and ideas can block what we really want, and that is to be integrated with the universe, I think, so that we are a part, not separate. But when the intellect and the ego get involved, we separate ourselves. And so, keeping that in mind, just having an intention that maybe anything is possible, is really helpful for your own um, healing and the healing of others as well. So letting go of those preconditioned feelings, thoughts, ideas, and and opening up to the possibility. So that's my sort of intro suggestion for this kind of, especially for this kind of work. But it's not essential because it's pretty hard to, it's hard to get around all our conditioning, right? We're alive. We survive and work because of this conditioning. So it's not necessarily all bad. It's just temporarily, at any rate, we can work on suspending. So I want to get into some of the ideas that. So I'll use words like clear or correct, and and I want to talk about how trauma, how we perceive and experience, and all those, how we remember traumas. And one thing that can happen is the memory of a trauma brings it to the future or to the present. And it brings the past to the present, and we can re-traumatize ourselves by just thinking about something. So I want to correct and clear the link between the memory of the trauma and the present moment. So we, in a sense, cut that or correct that so that the we don't have to bring it forward over and over again, right? So letting go of that. Now I'm going to move pretty quickly, because there's a lot of things I want to cover, and I'm working in a general. I'm going to be using general terms and not go into specifics for any individual person. However, you may be able to relate some of these things to yourself. So if you can make the connection, that's fine. If you don't, just relax and let things play out. So the other thing that I was thinking about is how we connect with that trauma, and usually it's from our senses. We have the five senses, and that's how we take in information. And so those traumas come to us through sight. And when I say the word that it is, I'm going to clear it. For example, sight, I'm going to correct that. And that's light, sight, and light. Excuse me. And then sound. So I clear that. And then touch. That's often a big one. And the key here, touch is, all these senses are essential, but touch, they found even in infants, that infants really need, and I'm talking about newborns, need to be held, need to experience touch. Otherwise, they do not thrive. So it's part of our call it DNA or heritage as humans, as mammals, that we experience this touch. And when something, for example, we experience a trauma from some sensation to our body, and it could be, an inflicted one or an accidental one, but then there's some experience of betrayal of the body or betrayal from an outside force. And so we want to be able to clear those. Do we let them go, even though we know that safety, we don't want to repeat the old pattern, and we don't want to go in blindly into the future. So, but at the same time, we don't want to carry all that baggage with us. So this is what I'm clearing, is that baggage that you can still have an understanding of oh, it's dangerous to put my finger in the fire, right? And that's not safe. But I'm still want to be able to have a candle burning. And so and understanding that there's a difference between getting burned and looking and seeing something. So anyway, back to that was the sense of touch, which is again, I think it's a very substantial one. And then smell and taste. Sometimes people eat something that's poison, or something that is maybe bad food or something like that, and then they get sick and they remember, and that their memory is through that taste or through the smell of that. So we're gonna not have to be, even though again it's important to know that there could be danger there if something is spoiled, but we don't make that association every time. So I want to clear those associations that are not real per se. They're and only after a little time does most people, they say, oh yeah, I guess it's okay, I'll forget about it. So anyway, and I think we've done sound. Okay, and then thoughts. So this is another big one. Our thoughts we can have trauma from just thinking about things, and repeating maybe some old thought pattern that was brought into our experience from a past. So right now we're dealing with past, and present is not as common. For most of the time, it's usually most of the present moments that we live in are okay, right? Generally, unless you live in a war-torn area or in a very unsafe environment, the actual present moment can be a refuge, right? If you stay in that moment, as long as you look around and you see, oh, it's safe. So there can be moments when present is not safe, of course. So you want to, but making the association that the present is actually connected or bound to that past experience, we need to sever that so that we don't bring that again back to the present moment. Now, the third option is the future traumas. So when thinking about how the continuum of time, we think of horizontal timeline and vertical timeline, and so present and future and past can in quantum thought can be happening simultaneously. If you think about a timeline going horizontal, but then a vertical one, so past, below, present, where the intersection is, and future above, and that moves along this other timeline from horizontally. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm going to clear all those things to reconnect. I don't know what happened with the energy was going. So at any rate, I'm back, and we'll see what we can do here. So I was talking about, I think we were talking about past, present, future, and I did want to get into some past life corrections as well. So thinking about that is again suspending any kind of belief systems that you might or we know or don't know about, We let go of all the that conditioning, and being open to whatever unknowns are possible. So let's just sit with that, and I'm going to clear 75 past life issues of trauma. For each person, let's just do a general correction. So we do. And then I think another interesting thing that I see come across from traumas are ancestral and inherited. So, you might say, oh, my family, the medical establishment says, well, heart attacks run in your family, or do they? And so all those things that we, from just being, some perhaps genetic connection, or other, it could be a behavioral connection too. So we want to clear any of those sort of things that are tagged on to us that might not be really our stuff, right? But the I think they call it the sins of your fathers, right? So we don't. I mean, although we have to say, what comes up is, we're here because of our ancestors and everything that they've done. So we need to forgive them for any difficult things that they, sometimes people do whatever it takes to survive. And in some cases, it's desperation. So, we want to at least take responsibility that, when something is passed on, that we're here because they've done the best they could, and we're we're here to grow. So we can let go of the guilt. I want to clear that guilt line that comes with it, and with kind of inheritance, so to speak. Okay. So we want to clear past lives, present life, or lives, and future lives. And you could make up all kinds of stories about those things, but we don't need to. We can just clear them. And this isn't to say that, now you have a clear, you have perhaps a temporary clear slate, and see how that feels. And maybe we haven't gotten everything, but at any rate, it's not like all these things are gone. I've noticed they can go away for a while, then the symptoms can go away for a while, and then we fall into patterns again. And some of them are just socially, sanctioned, or socially out there. The templates are all there, and they're familiar, so we connect to them. And and some of those thought field templates are necessary for us, but they're familiar. And now maybe there's an opportunity to make a different choice here, to do something different. Okay, so I mean that's how this system works, and oftentimes, so I will work with people to go deeper into sort of peeling that onion skin, and so it's a journey, and things do come back up. And we need to keep clearing sometimes, and that's why. It's not a one and done, so to speak, kind of event. But it is a relief. We need vacations. We need to not be always under that gun of trauma. It's great. We need to have peace and experience what serenity feels like, and love, and all those great things. So we're not always feeling just so stressed. Anyway, so we're just about out of time now. Just let's bring our hands together, express gratitude. Let's take a deep breath and raise the arms up like we're catching a big beach ball of energy, and draw it to the heart. Inhale again, exhale, fold the hands toward the heart. Allow that energy to flow into the body. One more deep breath in. And then exhale, turn the palms out. Send that energy out into the universe. So we allow the flow of energy to flow in. Let's bring the hands in. Inhale and exhale. And one more time. Inhale and exhale. So next time, we'll meet again next week. And I'm really grateful all of you have been able to come. And if you're online and you want to contact me, you can reach me at bodymindmedicine.com or direct message me and on Facebook. So otherwise, we'll see you next time. So thank you again for everyone that's come on the call, and peace. Namaste.
Namaste, Ji.
Thank you, everyone. So we'll see you next time.
Can I talk to you? Do you hear me?
Which one, Lisa?
Yes. Can I talk to you in Archana now after this is over?
Sure. Let me end. I have to end this call because we're still live on Facebook. So
okay.
yeah, then I'll come back on. Okay.
Okay.